Hello yogis, in today's class we're going to be working towards the lumbar Sirsasana, headstand pose. Please, if you are practicing headstands at home, don't just jump straight into it. It's really important that you warm up, stretch and strengthen those muscles beforehand to enter the poses safely and prevent injury. So let's begin with some gentle neck stretches. Just start by rolling the neck in a nice slow circle. Taking a few deep breaths in and out through the nose unless your nose is blocked. Being mindful of your posture and pausing in those areas you feel you need to. Relaxing the shoulders down and changing the direction. And finding stillness as you gaze forward, just gently guiding the ear towards your shoulder. Feel the length in your spine. And reaching your opposite arm out to the side, fingers pointing away from you. Begin tilting the chin slightly forwards. Feel the stretch in the back and the side of the neck. Maybe even down the muscles along the spine. And changing sides, first guiding the ear towards your shoulder and then reaching that opposite arm out to the side. No force. Deep breaths. Tilting the chin slightly down. And relaxing your arms down, making your way into your hands and knees for a cat-cow. Wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Make sure your toes aren't touching, they're apart, so the ankles are in line with your knees. And then as you inhale, first grounding those knuckles, pressing those fingertips down, fanning out the fingers. On the inhale, tucking your toes, arching the back, so lifting the hips up. Shoulders back straight, arms pushing away from the mat, gazing forwards. On the exhale, untuck the toes, tops of the feet pressing down, draw the belly in, tailbone moving down, tuck your chin into your chest. Inhale, tucking the toes, lifting the hips, gazing forwards. Exhale, tops of the feet down, rounding the spine. Inhale, tucking those toes, arching the back, drop the belly. Exhale, tops of the feet down. And just one more time, inhale, tucking those toes, lifting those hips. And exhale, untucking the toes. Finding that neutral spine and coming down into your forearms. Check to see that your elbows are underneath your forearms and notice what your wrists are doing. Are your hands leaning inwards? Try to keep the wrist in line with your elbows. Imagine there is a block between your hands. And if this is hard for you, you can actually place a block between your hands to make sure that they don't start to move inwards. So that same movement of cat-cow but on your forearms, so tucking the toes, arching the back. Rounding the back, squeezing the belly in, tucking the tailbone in, chin to chest, and then tops of the feet down. Inhale, taking a nice deep breath, arch the back, lift the hips, pushing away from the mat. Exhale, tuck the toes, rounding the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, untuck the toes, arching the back, hips up. Exhale. Inhale. Two more times. Exhale, tuck the toes, round the spine, chin to chest. Inhale, tops of the feet down. And last time. Exhale. And inhale. And then just finding this neutral spine. Spreading those shoulder blades, broadening the chest. Check to see your elbows are still underneath the shoulders. Pressing those knuckles down, pushing away from the mat. Just feel that gentle activation in the shoulders. And then tucking your toes, straightening out the arms and lifting your hips up to a downward facing dog. Start to work those heels down. It's okay if they don't touch the ground. Fan out those fingers, knuckles down, pushing away from the ground. If your back is rounding, rather tuck the toes to keep, lift your heels to keep the back straight. Engaging your quads, feel the kneecaps lifting, looking between the legs or your navel as you draw your attention inwards. Taking a few nice deep breaths, internally rotating your shoulders. So imagine your armpits are turning to face each other or turning to face your ankles or toes. Deep breaths. Take a nice cleansing breath in through the nose, sighing it out through the mouth. Let's do 2 more of those. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Really emphasis on that exhale in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then entering your child's pose, knees out to the side, toes moving together. Sink your hips back, relaxing your forehead down. And just connecting with your breath. Enjoying the stillness of the pose, noticing any tightness that might be in your hips. Curling the tailbone down. Find that softness in your shoulders. Relaxing the space between your eyes so you're not frowning, there's no tension in the jaw. And just holding here for 3 more deep breaths. And slowly coming up, crossing your feet behind you, walking your hands towards you so you can rock over the feet, straightening out the legs. It's okay if you just need to make your way into this position another way. Coming into your boat pose, so legs together, knees bent, floating those ankles up, reaching the arms forwards, using your core to support the back, chest open, gazing forwards, just gently pointing the toes, not holding the breath, smile, laugh, and enjoy. Holding here or straightening out the legs, look towards the toes, breathe. Knowing that you can rest at any time, this is your practice, but try to challenge yourself. Bending those knees and just slowly kicking those feet. Notice if you're starting to round the back, keep the back straight. Lengthen the neck and the spine. Find that stillness with the feet together. Straighten out the legs. Keep your shoulders off the mat. Breathe, palms still facing each other, really firing up that core which you need for headstands. And then slowly relaxing all the way down. Bending your knees. Placing your hands onto your knees and then lifting your shoulders off the mat. So the feet are grounded. Focusing on that core. Softness in the face. Noticing the breath. And just trying to enjoy those sensations within the body, noticing what's working, what's not. Holding for 3 more nice breaths. And relaxing the shoulders down. Pressing your lower back into the mat. And then hugging your knees towards your chest. Shoulders moving down. Slight tuck in the chin just to lengthen the back of the neck. holding the back of your thighs, lifting your head and gently rocking back and forward until you rock back to seated with the legs crossed. Try to stand without using your hands by pressing the knife edge of the feet down, palms into the chest. It's okay if you need to use your hands. And then coming to stand facing me, interlocking your hands together behind your back. Try to press the palms together and just slowly lengthening the spine. Notice what the pelvis is doing, if it's tilting forwards or back. Try to neutralize so the tailbone's moving down. Press those palms together, squeeze those shoulder blades in, parallel lines between your feet, engaging those quads. So as you lift the kneecaps, you'll notice that naturally happens. And then gently lifting those hands up towards the ceiling. Squeezing those shoulder blades in. Soft face. And relaxing the hands down, reaching your right arm up towards the ceiling, bending the elbow, pressing that elbow straight down. So the back of the hand is just resting on your back. Pressing the back of your head against the arm. And changing sides. Stretching out those shoulders. If your shoulders are tight, it can be quite challenging entering into a headstand. So we need to loosen them up. And relax. Grabbing a belt if you have one, or a scarf, whatever works for you. Holding the belt in either hand. And then slowly guiding the belt over the head and back. So you have full control over how wide you need to make your hands for this to be possible. So starting with it nice and wide, and just slowly, with control, moving it forwards and back, and connecting with breath. See if you can start to move the hands maybe a little closer towards each other. Knowing you can always back off if you think you've made a mistake. It happens. You get to learn a lot about yourself through yoga. Learning about your limitations, things you need to work on. Things you didn't know you needed to work on. And then releasing the belt, just moving it to the side. Palms to your chest, taking a nice deep breath in, reaching the arms up and back. I'll turn to my side so you can see what's happening, engaging the front of your thighs, engaging your glutes, lifting the chest up, reaching the hands back. And on the exhale, palms together, forward fold all the way down. Bend your knees if you need to get your hands down on either side of your feet. Looking between the legs, maybe straightening out the legs. Again, kneecaps lifting, quads engaged. Draw your belly in and up towards the diaphragm. And slowly start to move the forehead closer towards the shins, lifting those hips up. Deep breath. Parallel lines between the feet. And see if you can start to move a little deeper into your forward fold. And then placing your hands down, stepping back to your down dog. Broadening those shoulders, armpits facing the toes, and moving forwards to a plank pose. So your heels are moving forwards over the toes, shoulders are moving forwards over your wrists. Strong core, strong legs. And chaturanga, use your toes to move the heels forward so your shoulders move over the fingers. Bending your elbows in at your sides, lowering down with control, or on your knees first. Elbows still staying in at your sides onto your stomach. So either forwards, all the way down, or onto your knees. Untuck the toes and then just coming onto your forearms for a Sphinx pose. Again, noticing what the wrists are doing. Elbows under the shoulders, keep the wrists in line with your elbows. Shoulders back, gently engage the glutes, feet hip width apart. Pressing your hands down and pulling them towards you, you'll feel your chest start to activate. Gazing forwards or just over the nose. Pushing the forearms down to lift the chest. Strengthening the muscles in the back. If there's any pain at all, please come out the pose, especially any back pain. Listen to the body. And then keeping your forearms down, lifting your hips up, but your knees stay down. So it's a dolphin plank variation, so just your knees are down, the feet are pressing down, forearms pressing down, pushing away from the mat. Breathe. Activating that core. Yes. Enjoy the breath. All of these poses are strengthening all the muscles you need to. Shoulders, core, even legs. Creating that openness in the shoulders and the chest. Tucking your toes, lifting those knees for a forearm plank if you need to. Keep the knees down. Otherwise, lift those knees up. Again, heels over the toes. Deep breaths, pushing the head back between the shoulders. Holding this pose or lifting your right leg up. Deep breaths, you've got this. Yeah. Changing sides. Nearly there, lower the toes down. Lifting your hips up. And just opening your knees out to the sides for a child's pose, toes together, stretch it out. Cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Take as many cleansing breaths as you need to. And if you need to pause and hold this pose for longer, go for it. Otherwise, meeting me for a dolphin pose. So elbows under the shoulders like we just had, wrists in line with your elbows, tucking those toes, lifting the hips up. Look towards your toes. It's okay if you can't get your heels down, otherwise lower the heels. Notice if your elbows are starting to flare out to the sides, you don't want that. Keep them in. If you need to, you can even use your strap to wrap around your elbows to keep them this distance apart. Keep your hands away from each other. Breathe. Quads are engaged, hips are lifting, kneecaps are lifting, belly is moving in and up to the diaphragm, and push away from the mat. Walking the feet closer towards you if you can, otherwise keep them where they are. Broadening the shoulders. And holding this pose, or lifting the right leg up towards the ceiling. Keep pushing away from the mat so you're not collapsing onto your head. Straightening the leg. And changing sides. Breathe. Lowering the foot down, coming back to your child's pose. Stretch it out, relax those arms and shoulders, cleansing breath. Puppy pose, lifting the hips, knees in line with your hips, ankles in line with your knees. Stretch those arms forwards. Try to keep the hips stacked over the knees as you lower the chest down, either resting the forehead down or to deepen the pose, the chin and the chest. Looking forwards, hands in line with your shoulders. And every now and then just check to see if you need to adjust yourself so that the hips are over the knees and that your feet aren't moving inwards. In the beginning, this can be a very uncomfortable pose. As you progress, it becomes slightly less uncomfortable. And then coming back to your Sphinx, so just shift the hips forward, lower the hips down, elbows under the shoulders, engaging the glutes, looking forwards. Deep breaths, cleansing breaths if you need to. And then interlocking your fingers together. So look at your elbows, still under the shoulders, interlocking your hands together. Starting to prepare you for your headstand. We're going to do a half headstand first. So you want to open out your hands. Imagine you're holding a tennis ball and the thumbs are pointing up. So as we do a half headstand, you'll tuck your toes. Let's lift the hips. So start on your knees. And you can stay here if this is where you're at and this is your limit. But just really focusing on the foundation of the pose is the most important part. Your foundation is out, everything's out. So open your hands, holding a tennis ball, thumbs up, elbows under the shoulders. And then like we were doing that forearm cat-cow. So rounding those shoulders and sinking that chest. Notice the shoulder blades moving away from each other and squeezing towards each other. So you don't want them squeezing and collapsing towards each other in a headstand. You want them moving away from each other. So pushing those forearms down, thumbs up. Really tuck that chin in to get the very top of the head down. You do not want the forehead down because that will hurt your neck. So really tuck that chin to get the very top of the head down and the back of the head resting into the hands. So notice your shoulders, are they relaxed? Are your shoulder blades collapsing in towards each other? No, you don't want that. So pushing away from the mat. Just have a little bit of weight on the head, not a lot of weight at all. It's only 5% in the full pose. Pushing away from the mat, drawing the belly in, walking those knees towards you, and then just lifting your hips up. If you can, come up onto your toes. Notice the weight on your head. Don't let your shoulders collapse, and hold. Breathe. If you can, try to walk your feet a little bit closer. Notice if your elbows are flaring out, keep them in. Deep breaths. Holding here or squeezing your knee into your chest. You can either do one leg at a time and just lifting those heels up as you squeeze the knee into your chest, or if you can, try to squeeze both knees into the chest. If you need to, do this against a wall so you don't have to worry about falling back. Paying attention to the weight that's on your head, holding this pose, taking a break in between, or lowering the feet down. So let's take a break, resting in child's pose. Listen to the body. You know you can pause the video whenever you need to. That's the beauty of online. Can't pause a class. Okay, let's go back into that pose. So again, you can either be here the whole time that we're working through this, elbows under the shoulders, opening the hands, thumbs up, tucking the chin, resting the head at the back, and just focusing here. Slowly starting to get those hips up. Lifting the knees and breathe. For this one, try to straighten the right leg up towards the ceiling. Coming onto the tippy toes of the opposite leg that's on the mat. Again, notice the weight on your head. Breathe. You're trying to get your hips to come up over the shoulders. That's the aim. and changing sides. And then either holding your half headstand here, or coming all the way up, floating the legs up. Nice, slow, controlled. Use a wall if you need to, especially if you're a beginner. Slowly bringing your feet together, point the toes up, tuck the bum in, tailbone moving up towards the ceiling. Gently engaging the glutes. And slowly coming down with control. Knees out to the side, child's pose, cleansing breath, stretch it out. Well done. And just keep reminding yourself, headstands don't just happen the first time unless you're just that person. It can take years to get up into a headstand, so really be patient with yourself, enjoy the journey, and all of these poses that we're doing are going to be strengthening so that you can eventually go up into the headstand. A lot of it comes with believing in yourself, getting over that fear of falling, that fear of hurting yourself, which can happen, which is why you need to take your time. Don't just throw yourself up there. Really focus on this foundation so you don't cause any injury in your neck. Okay, crossing the feet behind you, rocking over the feet, straightening out the legs, reaching the arms forward, and then just rolling all the way down into your back. And relax, softening the toes, bending the knees, bridge pose, lifting your hips up, so feet hip width apart, knees in line with your hips, lifting those hips, engaging the glutes, lifting the chest, pressing your hands down, try to get the fingers to brush the back of your heels and tuck those shoulders under to give you that extra lift in the chest. Lifting the chin so there's space between your chin and your chest, the airways are staying open. Deep breaths. Holding here or reaching the arms up and over the head. Palms facing up. Slowly lowering the back down. Keep those hands over the head. Rolling one vertebrae at a time. And then holding your elbows over your head for Supta Baddha Konasana, bottoms of the feet together, knees out to the sides. Relaxing those shoulders, opening those hips, and just letting gravity do the work. As we start to cool down, slow the breath, allowing it to move back to its normal rhythm, which should be deep and slow. Changing the grip of your elbows, so the other hand's on top, breaking habits. Relaxing your arms to your sides, bringing your knees together and finding a wall or an object that you can lift your legs up. So you want to be as close as possible to it, whether it's a wall or a table. Straighten the legs, be as close to the wall as you can, leveling out the toes. Imagine you're balancing a plate on top of your feet and just relaxing your arms to your sides, palms up, to have this openness in your chest. Cleansing breath. Emphasis on the exhales. 2 more times, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then just breathing in and out through the nose, relaxing the shoulders, softening into the hips, softening the toes. And taking a moment to just acknowledge that you've carved this time out for yourself today. And that's amazing. Prioritize yourself, prioritize your wellness. Without your wellness, you have nothing. Unfortunately, it's the first thing that most of us sacrifice. And that should never be the case. And just holding here for a few more deep, slow breaths, closing your eyes if you'd like to, letting go of any distractions, and just noticing how you feel. This is a really great pose for circulation, insomnia, varicose veins. It's a great pose to do after any inversions. And if you have low blood pressure, gently coming out of the pose, just bending your knees and rolling onto your side. Slowly making your way onto your mat, staying on your back and bending the knees. Windscreen wiper supine twist. So just bend the knees, let the knees fall to one side as we have a gentle twist in our spines, looking in the opposite direction. Relaxing your hands, you can have your hands to your sides, you can have your arm on your leg. Just find that comfortable position in the pose, softening into the shoulders, and make sure you're looking in the opposite direction, that your knees are falling. And moving the knees over to the other side. Looking in the opposite direction, relaxing those shoulders, hips, hands, face. It's also really great to do these spinal twists after inversions. If you suffer with any pain in your back, and rolling onto your back, hugging the knees into your chest, softening those shoulders down and getting ready for Shavasana, releasing your legs, just letting them straighten out, relaxing your hands, palms up, toes just falling softly to the sides. If there is any discomfort in your lower back, you can bend the knees, pressing that lower back down softly and relaxing in this position. Otherwise, corpse pose, Shavasana, closing the eyes, relaxing all the muscles in your face. Taking that cleansing breath as you settle in. Letting go of any tension that you might be experiencing or still holding on to. And just start to notice the breath. the rise and fall of your chest and stomach, the softness in your face. And knowing that you can stay here for as long as you like. Or you can gently open the eyes, focusing your gaze and placing your hands on your stomach. Taking a moment to enjoy the stillness. And even faking a smile, even if you don't want to. Your body doesn't know the difference, so it still reacts in the same way. And hugging your knees into the chest. And rolling onto your side as you make your way to seated. Thank you so much for allowing me to guide you in this practice. Namaste.